Out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Online at myclallamcounty.com. Newsradio KONP, Port Angeles, Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Donald Trump and running mate Senator J.D. Vance campaigning in 2 battleground states today. Trump will roll out his vision for the economy in Asheville, North Carolina this afternoon. And Vance speaking in Byron Center, Michigan, outside Grand Rapids, telling supporters they will beat Democratic rival Kamala Harris.
We're going to take back the White House. We're going to restore American manufacturing. We're going to restore a whole country, and it's going to start right here in the state of Michigan.
New government data out today shows that inflation is cooling further.
The Consumer Price Index rose 2.9% in the past 12 months through July, the first time the index dipped below 3% since March 2021. The numbers add pressure on the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates as soon as next month after slowly raising rates over the past year to tamp down on inflation. Still, the cost of housing remains high, as well as for transportation, while gasoline prices were down. The Fed held interest rates steady at its last meeting, but signaled it could cut them in September. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
The U.S. pushing to finalize a ceasefire deal in Gaza. Talks set to resume tomorrow, but Hamas says it will not be participating. The U.S. also trying to avert a broader conflict in the region as Iran vows to retaliate against Israel. Ukrainian troops capturing more ground in its large-scale incursion into Russian territory near the Ukrainian border of Belgorod. ABC's Ian Panel has more.
Russian troops seen captured and taken prisoner as Kyiv pounds the Russian border region of Kursk, which neighbours Belgorod, with missiles and drones, claiming control of almost 80 settlements. It's also struck 3 Russian airfields overnight, one more than 380 miles inside Russia itself.
Russia declared a state of emergency in that occupied Belgorod. After leaving more than 700,000 customers in Puerto Rico without power, Hurricane Ernesto still on the move, now targeting the U.S. Virgin Islands. You're listening to ABC News.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Police in North Carolina describe Ramon Alston as extremely dangerous. He's the 30-year-old convicted killer who escaped from a transfer van yesterday outside a hospital in Hillsborough. Orange County Sheriff Charles Blackwood urging the public to check their cameras.
Whether it's a ring cam or other kind of surveillance equipment that you might have, to please check that for us and let us know. And remind everyone about the $35,000 reward.
A new study shows if you have a stressful job, it could be putting excess pressure on your heart.
Researchers from Canada studied about 6,000 people, examining the stressors they faced at work. Things like conflicting demands, tight deadlines, and a lack of autonomy, finding that when those pressures are high, the chance of atrial fibrillation can double. Atrial fibrillation is an irregular heart rhythm that can lead to stroke and eventually heart failure. Doctors say having flexible hours, balancing work and home life, and exploring calming techniques like meditation, even at work, can help. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
A criminal investigation is underway after a New Zealand food bank that works with homeless people unknowingly distributed candies filled with methamphetamine. The amount of meth in each candy is up to 300 times that someone would usually take and could be lethal. The food bank has started to contact up to 400 people to track down those packages, those candies donated by a member of the public. Michelle Franzen.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Wednesday, August 14th. With the layoffs of almost 200 workers at the McKinley paper mill in Port Angeles looming in 2 weeks, the union representing them is still trying to negotiate a softer landing for its members and get clarity on when the mill might reopen. On June 25th, the company gave employees a 60-day notice of the massive layoff. That's the minimum amount of time required under the Federal WARN Act. Citing market conditions as the reason for the closure of the mill, the company told workers they would restart operations when it became profitable to do so. Josh Estes of the Association of Western Pulp and Paper Workers is calling on the mill's management to provide transparency regarding their decision to temporarily close the facility and then what it would take to reopen it.
I think that's really where the biggest struggle is trying to get some clarity and understanding on what market conditions means. I asked specifically across the table which specific market conditions would lead you to make a decision to restart the facility. They said, we don't know. We asked what market conditions would lead you to permanently close the facility. We don't know. So I asked, well, who does know? And the response was, well, God, I suppose. God is the only one that knows.
Estes says the company has further escalated tensions by saying they do not consider this a permanent shutdown, allowing McKinley to evade responsibilities under the collective bargaining agreement to pay severance and extend medical benefits.
We've sat across the table from the company on a number of occasions, most recently last week, and it was made very clear to us that at this point in time, they feel like they've satisfied all of their requirements by sending out a WARN notice, which means that it doesn't look like they intend to pay the additional medical or severance for a closure because they're considering this not a closure. They're trying to use that as a loophole, and I think they're really trying to just be vague enough so that they can position themselves to get around paying out those benefits.
The laying off of so many workers at once has a ripple effect throughout the whole community, and local leaders have expressed support for the workers now by working to develop new retraining and placement programs and offering utility cost breaks. There's also been a chorus of voices from the city of Port Angeles, Clallam County, and the legislative district now joining the union's demand for accountability from McKinley.
Talk about Senator Van de Wig and Representative Chapman and Representative Theringer and the local leaders. It's very clear that their priority is helping these workers and their families so that we can navigate this crazy market conditions storm that McKinley has thrust upon them. And we're grateful for the support, and we appreciate anything that folks can do in keeping these members in their thoughts and prayers as we move forward to try to get some clarity.
Now, we reached out to McKinley officials. They did not return our calls for comment. Clallam County will receive $3.75 million to help plan and design part of the Olympic Discovery Trail. Clallam County Public Works Deputy Director for Utilities and Wastes, Steve Gray, says the funding is part of $16.1 million in federal funds distributed by the State Department of Transportation for the Puget Sound to Pacific Trail project. That trail, being planned through a number of counties, municipalities, and tribes in western Washington, will eventually link from the ferry terminals in Kitsap County here to the ocean.
This is a $16.1 million grant, federal raised grant. The project name is the Puget Sound to Pacific Multi-Use Trail, and the reason for that is it's including, besides us, 12 other jurisdictions. The 3 peninsula counties, tribes, and Port Angeles Squim are amongst those. So we have, of the 34 projects, 7 of them are gaps. So there's actually 5 gaps and then 2 bridge studies. One of them.
Gray says the county will need to produce matching dollars for the funds. It will specifically cover segments including the Bogoshiel River crossing, Bagley Creek Bridge replacement, and a few other gaps. The county plans to use an in-house planner for the work and not hire an outside consultant. That grant will be finalized once all the parties, including the Federal Highway Administration, sign on to the agreement. The funding will be available until 2032, but Gray says they aim to complete the portion in Clallam County well before then. More news after this.
Losing a loved one is overwhelming. Your mind and your heart shut down. That's where Drennan & Ford Funeral Home and Crematory comes in. They took the burden off my family's shoulders and guided us through everything we needed to do. No pushy sales tactics or unanswered questions. They just held our hands and took care of everything we asked. That's why I will always recommend Drennan & Ford for end-of-life decisions. They handle the hurt like no one else can. Call 360-457-1210.
Septic Myths and Facts, Volume 3.
I use an additive to help my septic system work better.
Washington State doesn't recommend you use any additives in your system. There's no evidence that they improve the life of a septic, and some can even be harmful.
But how do I know if it's working or damaging my system?
By having regular inspections. A list of licensed inspection professionals is available at Clallam County Environmental Health's website at clallam.net/septic.
Jammin' in the Park is back on the Port Angeles waterfront August 31st. Presented by Nor'Wester Rotary and Koenig Subaru. Come for a fun and free day of live music, food, a kids zone, and other activities too. It happens at Pebble Beach Park in front of Field Hall and Event Center from 11 to 5, Saturday, August 31st.
Jammin' in the Park is made possible in part by Seven Cedars Casino, State Farm Insurance Matt Joik, D.A. Davidson, First Fed, and Angeles Collision.
In other news, Washington state elections officials announcing yesterday that presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has qualified for the general election ballot here. He's one of 9 minor party candidates approved by the Secretary of State's office. Kennedy, representing the We the People Party, may face legal challenges to his candidacy, though. Washington State Democratic Party has urged the Secretary of State not to certify Kennedy's nomination, arguing that his supporting signatures were not collected at a party convention as required by state law. Any appeal must be filed within 5 days of the Secretary of State's decision and resolved by the court within the same time frame. Now, if the ballot remains unchanged, Washington voters will choose among 11 presidential tickets this fall, including the major party candidates and those minor parties. A University of Washington-led research team could receive up to $21 million from a federal grant aimed at reducing U.S. cancer deaths, part of President Joe Biden's Moonshot initiative. The total $150 million award announced during the president's visit to New Orleans as part of an effort to cut cancer fatalities in half over the next 25 years. UW is one of 8 institutions selected for funding, along with Tulane University, Dartmouth, and Johns Hopkins. And Woodland Park Zoo has decided to relocate a 6-week-old baby gorilla after he failed to bond with his mother, Ikenji. The zoo staff made the critical decision to send the infant to a surrogate at another facility to ensure he's raised by gorillas, not humans. Since Ikenji showed no interest in caring for her baby, zoo staff have been providing round-the-clock care since his birth in June. Attempts to bond the baby with the gorillas at the zoo have been unsuccessful. The zoo is now working to find a suitable surrogate from a list of potential candidates across the country. This is Newsradio KONP.
Do you have livestock that need moving? Stories Trailer Sales are bringing livestock pin trailers to the Clallam County Fair, ready for immediate delivery. Check out their ATV, equipment, and dump trailers, too. Or special order your trailer to your specs and needs, and Stories will deliver it direct to you. See trailers, and more trailers at the Clallam County Fair, or online at StoriesServiceStation.com.
It's time for your Port of PA Today.
Hello, I am Commissioner Steve Burke with the Port of Port Angeles. I am here with Dave Walter, CEO of CRTC, Composite Recycling Technology Center. A lot of people don't know what CRTC does here in Port Angeles.
Commissioner Burke, thank you so much. The CRTC is celebrating our 9th year in Port Angeles. We use innovation to leverage the potential of undervalued materials and waste streams to create durable, environmentally conscious products. Because carbon fiber is as strong as steel at about a quarter of the weight, we work with a company by the name of FabTech out of Everett, Washington, to manufacture an orthotic leg brace called the Reactive Brace. This state-of-the-art orthotic allows people who have lost functionality in their legs and are often wheelchair-bound to be able to walk again. It's tremendously fulfilling to think that we not only are keeping carbon fiber out of landfill, but we're using it to help make such an amazing change in someone's life. It is really exciting to think that Port Angeles is now at the forefront of orthotic spring technology.
This has been your Port of PA Today.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 66. Winds out of the northwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 53 tonight, mainly clear skies. Daytime highs approaching 65 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Temperatures a bit below average Friday and Saturday with highs in the low 60s. Slight chance of thunderstorms Saturday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 63 Sunday, 62 Monday, and 63 on Tuesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 66.
I'm Nick DeLuca. J.J. McCarthy set for surgery. Vikings first-round quarterback out indefinitely after suffering a meniscus tear in his right knee in Minnesota's preseason opener against the Raiders on Saturday. Team doctors still evaluating what the timeline might be for him to return.
In the interim, J.J. McCarthy will be given the time he needs to get well. They will focus on getting Sam Darnold ready for the regular season opener against the New York Giants and possibly beyond. But the next big news out of Minnesota will be what doctors found and what they decided to do to treat the injury.
McCarthy went 11-17 for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns in his preseason debut. Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase absent from practice for the first time in training camp as he seeks a contract extension. Chase had been holding in but did not report today, entering year 4 of his rookie contract. He's been a Pro Bowler in each of his first 3 NFL seasons. In baseball, Yankees bounce back with a win over the White Sox. All 4 Yankee runs courtesy of Juan Soto, who brought the home run swing to Chicago.
Soto drives it in the air, deep right field. He has done it again. Juan Soto, his first career 3-home run game.
It's always great to be locked in, to be ready for every pitch, and when you're locked in and you have a guy like Judge behind you, you're going to get some pitches, so it feels really good.
We went and got him and paid a big price to bring him here because we know what a special player that he is, and we've seen every bit of that and probably more.
Ryan Ruocco on the Yes Network. Soto homering in the 3rd, 5th, and 7th. Nestor Cortez locked in on the mound tonight, went 7 scoreless with 9 strikeouts, only allowing 3 hits. Yankees win, Orioles lose tonight. New York takes a half-a-game lead atop the American League.
In some more local sports now, a rough night for the Mariners yesterday.
Kirby Deals. Swung on, ripped right field. This is absolutely hammered on its way, gone. Kerry Carpenter, his 2nd home run of the night. And the Tigers have poured it on. 7 runs on the board here in the 4th. It is 7-1 Detroit.
That was one of Kerry Carpenter's homers in his return from a back injury. Jake Rogers drove in 7 runs as the Detroit Tigers routed the Mariners 15-1 last night. Seattle's George Kirby had a rough outing, giving up a career-high 11 runs and 13 hits in just 3 2/3 innings. Mariners will try to bounce back in the second game of the series with Brian Wu set to pitch against a bullpen game for the shorthanded Tigers. We're on the air at 2:30 this afternoon here on KONP. Seattle Seahawks signed Connor Williams Sunday, and he joined the team at the VMAC in Seattle on Monday. Williams praised the team's culture, took his time before signing to ensure he was in good health. He says he chose Seattle for the opportunity to help build a new program. Hawks head coach Mike McDonald called Williams a great football player, and the team aims to have him ready for Week 1 against the Broncos. Williams, recovering from a torn ACL, is at about 95% now and will gradually return to full practice with a possible debut during the Cleveland game or the following week. It's unclear if he'll join the team for those joint practices happening in Nashville this week. And the Big Ten's football landscape set for a major shakeup with the University of Washington Huskies among the 4 former Pac-12 teams joining the conference. As the Ducks of Oregon take center stage with their flashy style, the Huskies are also poised to make an impact. Washington, last season's national divisional runner-up to Michigan enters the Big Ten with a new head coach in Jed Fish and just one returning starter, while Oregon's potential clash with Ohio State on October 14th grabs the headlines. Washington faces its own high-stakes matchups, including hosting Michigan on October 5th and a season-ending showdown at Oregon on November 30th. And we are once again your Huskies football station here on KONP. We'll be bringing you all of the Huskies in the Big Ten now, beginning the end of this month.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at doutdoors.com. Ends 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Bad Boy Mowers' legendary reputation for build strength, performance, and value is now available with Bad Boy tractors. From mid-size to subcompact models, powered by 22 to 35 horsepower water-cooled diesel engines, your tractor work just got real. Easy on the farm, the ranch, or even around the house. Bad Boy Tractors deliver on power and durability all day, every day.
Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales is your Bad Boy tractor dealer in Sequim.
Bad Boy Tractors. Work with an attitude.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. U.S. inflation continues on a downward path, clearing the way for the Fed to cut interest rates. Core consumer prices eased for a fourth month in July, running at the slowest year-over-year pace in 3 years. Markets are mixed following the news. The Dow is up 0.6, the S&P up 0.3. The Nasdaq, though, is down 0.1%. Candy giant Mars is buying snacks producer Kellanova for close to $36 billion. Mars is known for M&M's, Twix, and Kind bars, while Kellanova brands include Pringles, Cheez-It, and Eggo waffles. Apple has struck a deal to end litigation, claiming early versions of the Apple Watch had defects, causing batteries to swell and screens to crack. The $20 million settlement will be spread among owners of the first generation, as well as those with Series 1, 2, or 3 watches who'd reported battery issues. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
Let's get a check of the roads next, brought to you by Angela's Furniture and Olympic Medical Center.
Feeling a little restless at night? Tossing and turning? It might be time to upgrade your mattress, and I know the perfect place. Angela's Furniture's Labor Day special on Beauty Rest is where you'll keep more money in your pocket for an investment in your body. Get the sleep you deserve tonight on a new Beauty Rest Harmony Luxe with up to $1,000 off. Or step up to a Beauty Rest Black with up to $1,200 off. Get in on big savings at the Labor Day sale at Angela's Furniture through September 4th.
When every second counts, trust the trauma experts at Olympic Medical Center. Accidents happen anytime, day or night. That's why Olympic Medical Center provides 24/7 trauma care every day of the year. Our dedicated trauma team is here around the clock to handle your emergencies with expertise and compassion. Olympic Medical Center, your hometown partner in trauma care. Learn more at olympicmedical.org/trauma care.
All right, your weather for your traffic right now looks pretty busy in downtown Port Angeles. We've got ferry traffic we're dealing with, and that got some construction as well downtown. Front Street's kind of a mess right now. If you can avoid the downtown for a bit, you'd be better off. Other than that, just your normal volume slowdown on Lincoln, and also just a little bit heading out of town on First Street. No other problems as you head out towards Sequim. You'll loosen up and go at the speed limit between Port Angeles and Sequim. Sequim, no problems right now. We've got the Hood Canal Bridge is now back open for traffic. It had been closed a little bit earlier, but I believe it's now back open and running just fine. No problems on the Seattle ferries right now that we know of. If you're heading out west, no issues there on 101 or 112 out to Forks or Clallam Bay or Nia Bay. Right now, the sun has finally made a return at 63 in Port Townsend, 69 out west at Forks, 68 in Sequim, 58 on the waterfront in downtown Port Angeles, where a little breeze is keeping it cool. And it's 66 now out at Fairchild Airport.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
If you're getting older, and hey, who isn't getting older, and especially if you're living alone, getting a pet could help offset some of the normal cognitive decline associated with aging. This is according to a new study of people 50 and older in the UK. Now, when you get to be that age, and even more so following a divorce or death of a spouse, you are sadly at increased risk of anxiety and depression. Getting a pet can reduce loneliness and increase well-being. That's according to the study's author. And watching pets can help people calm, relax, and relieve stress and anxiety. Pets provide owners with opportunities to meet new people and to have conversations while taking walks. Those walks also mean you're getting more exercise. Now, one thing to keep in mind, taking care of a pet is hard work, so you got to make sure that you're up for it. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. We've got a huge variety of metals in stock, and we cut to size fast. Bottom line, we get it done fast, so you get it done fast. Doesn't get easier than that. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Find a store or buy online at metalsupermarkets.com.
Life hack number 7. Get an iPhone 12 on Straight Talk.
Life hack.
Here's how it works. You walk into Walmart, go to the electronics section, ask for iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system, and select the new Silver Unlimited plan. They'll smile because it's a good plan. You get real unlimited data all for just $20 a month for the whole first year. Get it at Walmart or StraightTalk.com. Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Taxes and fees apply. Requires activation of iPhone 12 and a new Silver Unlimited plan or higher-end auto-pay enrollment. $25 a month service credit applied for up to 12 months if eligibility requirements are met. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. On December the 1st, 1955, something happened in America which changed the face of our nation forever. I'll tell you that story after this important message.
If you've been hearing my radio programs now for the last 20 years, you know that I've been telling the true stories of those who have followed God's ways to make America the greatest nation in the world. So what's the latest? Well, we're now doing this nation-saving work full-time, and we need your help by becoming one of our ambassadors, subscribing to All We Have for just $5.95 per month. To get what? Number one, full access to our amazing website that is full of over 100 true stories to teach us with these stories how America is to act and operate. We also have lessons for all ages to teach us what we must do now, and our children, they will be our nation's leaders very soon. I will have live presentations online for you to hear, maybe even to participate. And when must this all get started? Now. Call our offices today at 817-995-6965 or go to our website at www.jerrystewartusa.com and email our office. God bless you.
On December the 1st, 1955, a black woman, Rosa Parks, boarded a bus to travel home after work. During that bus ride home, she was told to go to the back of the bus to allow a white passenger to sit in her seat. Rosa Parks refused, and she was arrested. Her arrest prompted the Montgomery bus boycott, and for a full year, black citizens refused to ride in segregated buses. What happened? The Supreme Court ruled that segregated busing was unconstitutional, and it was stopped. In 1999, at 86 years old, Rosa Parks received the Congressional Gold Medal, the highest civilian honor given by Congress. Rosa Parks, a woman of true courage. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
For the Washington State News Network, I'm Rob Francis. U.S. Senator Maria Cantwell paid a visit to the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory in Richland yesterday to celebrate the opening of a new $75 million research center to study ways to improve effectiveness and storage capabilities of batteries. The company, which entered a 3-year battery project earlier this year with Microsoft, is looking for ways to meet the growing energy demands of the Northwest and the nation with new tech and battery capability. The research will also look to reduce lithium content in batteries by as much as 70%. 68 dogs were seized from a rural Pierce County home recently after sheriff's deputies served a warrant and found the animals living in filthy, unsafe conditions.
The search was conducted after a citizen told authorities they'd purchased a puppy from a dog breeder and the animal was sick with highly contagious parvo and other illnesses. Deputies and animal control found the dogs living in a double-wide trailer. Numerous litters of newborn puppies were found to be sick or malnourished. Several had to be euthanized. The breeder is likely facing multiple animal cruelty charges.
That was John McKay reporting. All the animals were seized and are now in the care of Pierce County animal shelters. And T-Mobile will be ending its 2G service at the end of next month. The Washington state-based mobile giant is the last major carrier supporting the older technology. The change was supposed to happen in April of this year, but the company decided to delay the inevitable for another few months. For more on these stories and others, download the WSNN mobile app. You can also visit our website, WashingtonStateNews.net.
If you're a contractor, it's now easier for you to do business with the Department of Labor and Industries. Go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line and make an appointment with us ahead of time. No waiting around, no wasted time away from your job site. You get in, get out, and get on your way. Easy. So contractors, just go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line to make an appointment and get back to doing what you do best.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. National Hurricane Center warning coordination meteorologist Robbie Berg says Ernesto started bringing rain to Puerto Rico Tuesday.
When all is said and done for Puerto Rico, we're expecting about 6 to 8 inches. Maybe some local areas could have up to 10 inches. And, of course, Puerto Rico is mountainous, so you dump that much rain on the island like that, and they end up getting pretty severe flash flooding incidents. We've seen that in past storms as well, so that's what we're particularly concerned about.
Ernesto has strengthened into a hurricane and is forecast to become a major Category 3 storm in the coming days. Forecasters warned of heavy swells along the U.S. East Coast. Also at townhall.com, year-over-year inflation reached its lowest level in more than 3 years in July.
The Labor Department says prices rose 2.9%, down from 3% in June of last year. It also says prices rose 0.2% from June to July after dropping slightly the previous month for the first time in 4 years. The government said nearly all of last month's increase reflected higher rental prices and housing costs, a trend that, according to real-time data, is easing.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Today's report, the latest sign the worst price spike in 4 decades is fading and setting up the Federal Reserve for an interest rate cut in September. In health news, the World Health Organization says Mpox is now a global emergency, with cases in 13 African countries, and a new form is spreading. The Taliban celebrating their 3rd year as rulers of Afghanistan, but the country is in dire shape. Aid agencies warn that humanitarian efforts in the country are gravely underfunded and that economic collapse is destroying livelihoods. The Dow had 300 points, the NASDAQ 20 points in the red. More at townhall.com.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-504-8790. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-504-8790. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-504-8790.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
Talks aimed at securing a ceasefire in Sudan underway in Geneva despite the refusal of the Sudanese army to take part.
The government has given a variety of reasons, one being the talks in Jeddah talked about the need for protection of civilians, for them to be allowed safely to leave conflict zones and so on. And the government says that needs to be in place before we attend ceasefire talks. There's a bit of a chicken and egg argument going on there. The other is that the government has objected to the presence of the United Arab Emirates as observers in these talks, along with Egypt, the UN, the African Union.
BBC correspondent Imogene Folks. German authorities looking into suspicions of unauthorized entry and possible tampering with the water supply at a major Air Force barracks in the west of the country. Officials are saying they could not rule out contamination. Breaking news at townhall.com. The field has been set for the November general elections following primary day yesterday in Wisconsin. Correspondent Julie Walker with the results.
Wisconsin voters set the field in a closely watched Senate contest, with Donald Trump's pick, Republican businessman Eric Hovde, easily winning his primary Tuesday. He'll face Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin, political newcomer, and another Trump pick, Tony Weed, defeating current and former state senators in the GOP primary for a deep red district.
Are we better off now than we were 4 years ago? And the answer is a resounding no.
Audio courtesy WBAY. I'm Julie Walker.
A major acquisition, Mars, whose brands include M&M's, Snickers, and Skittles, is buying food company Kellanova in a nearly $30 billion deal, giving it access to brands such as Cheez-It, Eggo, and Pop-Tarts. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
Theodore Kloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Wednesday, August 14th. With the layoffs of almost 200 workers at the McKinley paper mill in Port Angeles looming in 2 weeks, the union representing them is still trying to negotiate a softer landing for its members and get clarity on when the mill might reopen. On June 25th, the company gave employees a 60-day notice of the massive layoff. That's the minimum amount of time required under the Federal WARN Act. Citing market conditions as the reason for the closure of the mill, the company told workers they would restart operations when it became profitable to do so. Josh Estes of the Association of Western Pulp and Paper Workers is calling on the mill's management to provide transparency regarding their decision to temporarily close the facility and then what it would take to reopen it.
I think that's really where the biggest struggle is trying to get some clarity and understanding on what market conditions means. I asked specifically across the table which specific market conditions would lead you to make a decision to restart the facility. They said, we don't know. We asked what market conditions would lead you to permanently close the facility. We don't know. So I asked, well, who does know? And the response was, well, God, I suppose. God is the only one that knows.
Estes says the company has further escalated tensions by saying they do not consider this a permanent shutdown, allowing McKinley to evade responsibilities under the collective bargaining agreement to pay severance and extend medical benefits.
We've sat across the table from the company on a number of occasions, most recently last week, and it was made very clear to us that at this point in time, they feel like they've satisfied all of their requirements by sending out a WARN notice, which means that it doesn't look like they intend to pay the additional medical or severance for a closure because they're considering this not a closure. They're trying to use that as a loophole, and I think they're really trying to just be vague enough so that they can position themselves to get around paying out those benefits.
The laying off of so many workers at once has a ripple effect throughout the whole community, and local leaders have expressed support for the workers now by working to develop new retraining and placement programs and offering utility cost breaks. There's also been a chorus of voices from the city of Port Angeles, Clallam County, and the legislative district now joining the union's demand for accountability from McKinley.
But I think it's really important to emphasize that, you know, the folks that you talk about, Senator Van de Wig and Representative Chapman and Representative Theringer and the local leaders, it's very clear that their priority is helping these workers and their families so that we can navigate this crazy market conditions storm that McKinley has thrust upon them. And we're grateful for the support, and we appreciate anything that folks can do in keeping these members in their thoughts and prayers as we move forward to try to get some clarity.
Now, we reached out to McKinley officials. They did not return our calls for comment. Clallam County will receive $3.75 million to help plan and design 7 trail parts that are part of the Olympic Discovery Trail. Clallam County Public Works Deputy Director for Utilities and Wastes, Steve Gray, says the funding is part of $16.1 million in federal funds distributed by the State Department of Transportation for the Puget Sound to Pacific Trail project. That trail, being planned through a number of counties, municipalities, and tribes in western Washington, will eventually link from the ferry terminals in Kitsap County here to the ocean.
This is a $16.1 million grant, federal raised grant. The project name is the Puget Sound to Pacific Multi-Use Trail, and the reason for that is it's including, besides us, 12 other jurisdictions. 3 peninsula counties, tribes, and Port Angeles Squim are amongst those. So we have, of the 34 projects, 7 of them are in our gaps. So there's actually 5 gaps and then 2 bridge studies. One of them.
Gray says the county will need to produce matching dollars for the funds. It will specifically cover segments including the Bogoshiel River crossing, Bagley Creek Bridge replacement, and a few other gaps. The county plans to use an in-house planner for the work and not hire an outside consultant. That grant will be finalized once all the parties, including the Federal Highway Administration, sign on to the agreement. The funding will be available until 2032, but Gray says they aim to complete the portion in Clallam County well before then. In other news, Washington state elections officials announcing yesterday that presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has qualified for the general election ballot here. He's one of 9 minor party candidates approved by the Secretary of State's office. Kennedy, representing the We the People Party, may face legal challenges to his candidacy, though. Washington State Democratic Party has urged the Secretary of State not to certify Kennedy's nomination, arguing that his supporting signatures were not collected at a party convention as required by state law. Any appeal must be filed within 5 days of the Secretary of State's decision and resolved by the court within the same time frame. Now, if the ballot remains unchanged, Washington voters will choose among 11 presidential tickets this fall, including the major party candidates and those minor parties. A University of Washington-led research team could receive up to $21 million from a federal grant aimed at reducing U.S. cancer deaths, part of President Joe Biden's Moonshot initiative. The total $150 million award announced during the president's visit to New Orleans is part of an effort to cut cancer fatalities in half over the next 25 years. UW is one of 8 institutions selected for funding, along with Tulane University, Dartmouth, and Johns Hopkins. And Woodland Park Zoo has decided to relocate a 6-week-old baby gorilla after he failed to bond with his mother, Kenji. The zoo staff made the critical decision to send the infant to a surrogate at another facility to ensure he's raised by gorillas, not humans. Since Akenji showed no interest in caring for her baby, zoo staff have been providing round-the-clock care since his birth in June. Attempts to bond the baby with the gorillas at the zoo have been unsuccessful. The zoo is now working to find a suitable surrogate from a list of potential candidates across the country. This is Newsradio KONP.
Are cataracts affecting your vision? If you're struggling with poor night vision, glare from bright lights, or decreased color vision, it may be time to schedule a cataract evaluation. At Northwest Eye Surgeons in Squim, we're committed to offering the latest technology in cataract surgery and intraocular lens implants. Our skilled surgeon, Dr. Max Solka, MD, offers custom treatment options to help you meet your unique vision goals. Call 800-826-4631 or find us online at nweyes.com.
When the summer weather is here and the kids are out of school and off with their friends or playing outside, it sure seems like the perfect time to do some home improvements. And one of the biggest projects you can tackle is flooring. TJ's Flooring in Port Angeles can help. Whether it's carpet, laminate, hardwood, or LVP, TJ's will help you select the best option for your home. And while most places won't encourage this, TJ supports DIY flooring projects. This eliminates someone else in your home and scheduling conflicts and gives you the time you need on your own schedule. Of course, the professional installers are there when you need them, but you do have a choice at TJ's. The selection in the warehouse right on site is huge. Rolls and rolls of beautiful flooring at half the price of special ordering. When it comes to customer satisfaction and value, TJ's is second to none. TJ's Flooring on Highway 101 and Monroe Road, 360-670-5188.
When shopping for building supplies, lumber, home goods, or hardware items, are you traveling to one of those big box stores? When you wander those big box store aisles, how's that customer service? Absent? Possibly lacking in knowledge?
I don't know.
At Angeles Millwork and Hartnaggles, we have 2 convenient Port Angeles locations, and each one is far from the big box store experience. Yay! Since our stores are employee-owned, each one of us has a vested interest in how we serve and treat our customers. You won't find us hiding in the back aisle or turning the other way when you make eye contact for help.
They can't see me if I can't see them.
We're excited to share our day with you while making sure we set the bar high for what true customer service is all about. So if you're looking for a hometown building supply store that treats their customers like next-door neighbors, has deep knowledge on building products while continually supporting the local community, then avoid those trips out of town and come see us today. Angeles Millwork and Hartnagel Building Supply, building homes, building community since 1906.
It's finally summer, and at Brown's Outdoor, we're fully stocked up for all your summer outdoor adventures. Take advantage of up to 30% off summer apparel and 25% off all Chaco sandals. If a new sleeping bag is on your list, Brown's has a large selection on sale. Pick from the North Face, Marmot, or Big Agnes. And while you're in, check out our latest shoe clearance deals and peruse our newly stocked Sunseas collection. The summer savings are extensive, but hurry in for the best selection. Brown's Outdoor has been family-owned and outfitting the Olympic Peninsula for forever.
Well, your weather forecast is calling for sunshine to continue through the rest of today. You can expect tonight to be mostly clear, but then we get back to a little bit more iffy weather, as we say, as we move into the rest of the week. And the weekend, Thursday, not too bad with mostly sunny skies and highs in the mid-60s to low 70s, but cloudy by Friday, highs in the 60s. Partly sunny with a chance of some thunderstorms late in the afternoon Saturday and highs in the mid to upper 60s. Sunday's looking cloudy with a chance of rain and highs in the mid to upper 60s. Sunday, partly sunny, slight chance of rain, highs in the mid to upper 60s. And then partly sunny skies on Tuesday next week. Slight chance of rain in the afternoon Tuesday with highs in the mid to upper 60s. So no real warm weather for the Clallam County Fair coming, but it could be worse. Not going to be a washout either. Right now, we do have mostly sunny conditions across the North Peninsula. It is 64 in Port Townsend out west at Forks. They're now up to 72. Squim's got 68. It's 58 along the waterfront in downtown Port Angeles. And out at Fairchild Airport, it is 68 degrees. Join us on the Todd Ortloff Show next hour. We're going to be talking with Steve Paleo. He's kind of a data guy, and he's got some takes on housing and the economics of Port Angeles. We're going to get his take on things. Pretty interesting discussion, I expect, next hour. We'll also be talking about the Sequim City Band and their big free concert that's coming up this weekend as well. That's all next hour on the TO Show here on KONP.
It's time for your Port of PA Today.
Hello, I am Commissioner Steve Burke with the Port of Port Angeles. I am here with Dave Walter, CEO of CRTC, Composite Recycling Technology Center. A lot of people don't know what CRTC does here in Port Angeles.
The CRTC is celebrating our 9th year in Port Angeles. We use innovation to leverage the potential of undervalued materials and waste streams to create durable, environmentally conscious products. We now have 38 team members on staff, and we were just recently honored by Inc. magazine as one of the best small businesses to work at in the United States for 2024. We know there are many fine businesses in Clallam County, so we are honored to be considered among them, as it is a real testament to the great team members we have at the CRTC. Our business continues to grow as we expand into the manufacture of tiny homes, so we look forward to adding even more team members in the future and keeping Port Angeles at the forefront of innovative manufacturing.
This has been your Port of PA Today.
Welcome to Volunteer Spotlight, sponsored by Jim Hagwood of PA Realty. This is Alan Barnard, and this Volunteer Spotlight shines on the American Red Cross of Clallam County. Since 1917, the Clallam County Red Cross volunteers have responded with compassion to the immediate needs of families affected by house fires, flooding, winter storms, and other human critical needs. The Red Cross of Clallam County helps families on the road to recovery with shelter, food, clothing, and connections with local agencies. If you wish to join the local Red Cross disaster team, you can complete the volunteer application form on the Red Cross website, redcross.org/volunteer, and make a real difference in our community. It's said that service is the rent we pay for our space on Earth, and that's why we present this volunteer spotlight sponsored by Jim Hagwood at Port Angeles Realty.
Your community-minded friends at First Fed bring you the Community Corner, highlighting good things happening right here in our area.
Do you have a delicious chili recipe you want to show off to the community? The Kiwanis Club of Port Angeles invites you to enter your chili in their annual Kiwanis Club Car Show and Chili Cook-Off. It's at the fairgrounds August 31st in Port Angeles. Pre-register your classic car or chili by this Thursday for just $20 entry fee or $25 the day of the event. Get your chili recipe tuned up for the Kiwanis Club Car Show and Chili Cook-Off August 31st at the Clallam County Fairgrounds. All vehicle and chili cook-off participants enter by 7:30 a.m. August 31st for the big show at the fairgrounds. It's another fun fundraiser event by the Kiwanis Club of Port Angeles.
Community Corner, presented by First Fed.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers and hot dogs on the grill, and a delicious, refreshing Pepsi Zero Sugar in your hand. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Pepsi, the official beverage of Grills Night Out.
Sign up your kids for free bowling at Laurel Lanes this summer. Go to laurellanes.com or call 360-457-5858 for more information and take part in their Kids Bowl Free program for kids 18 and under. Laurel Lanes strives to provide a fun and safe environment where everyone is welcome. And they serve fantastic pizza too. Plus, there are family passes available so the entire family can join in the fun. Sign up now and come have a ball at Laurel Lanes, 108 West 8th Street.
10 minutes in front of 1 o'clock now.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Just minutes ago, ahead of Wall Street's closing bell, and stocks are on track to end the day mostly higher after inflation edged lower in July. Consumer prices rising just 2.9% from a year ago. That's the smallest monthly increase in 3 years. Right now, the Dow is up 0.5%, more than 200 points. The NASDAQ, because of weakness in some tech stocks, down by about a third. The S&P fractionally higher. Among the big gainers, shares of Victoria's Secret up nearly 16%. It poached the CEO of singer Rihanna's Savage by Fenty lingerie brand to be its next chief executive. Also higher, shares of Kellanova, the maker of Pop-Tarts, Cheez-Its, and other snacks, up nearly 8% after Snickers and M&M's maker Mars agreed to buy the company for nearly $36 billion. And Apple has hundreds of engineers developing a high-priced device for the home that combines an iPad-like display with a robotic arm. It'll act as a smart home command center, video conferencing device, and home security tool. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Check the traffic one last time this hour next. Brought to you by McCrory Carpet One and by Leeds Farm Supply.
At McCrory Carpet One, they know how important it is to feel confident in your flooring selection. You want to know it's going to look exactly the way you want it once it's installed in your home. That's why they offer their one-of-a-kind guarantee, making sure you're 100% happy that the floor you've created together is as beautiful as the one in your dreams. If not, they'll replace it for free. That's what they call the Beautiful Guarantee. Peace of mind is yours with every installation. Always priced right, always done right. McCrory Carpet One.
No matter what you are trying to keep in or what you're trying to keep out, Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales has fencing to get the job done right. Leeds carries everything from barbed wire and no-climb fencing to field fences and gates with all the equipment you'll need to install. You'll even find fence chargers, electric rope, T-posts, and anything else you might need to get the job done. Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales is your local farm store and so much more. Located at 259110 Highway 101 in Sequim.
Newsradio KONP, traffic and roads.
All right, things are busy as usual out during this noon hour. We've got a lot of traffic volume that's slowing things down in the greater downtown part of Port Angeles on both First and Front. That is a combination of some ferry traffic and also the construction that's happening down there. That's slowing it down a little bit. Also, Lincoln Street's pretty tight and busy right now as well. You're going to find also a little bit of slowdown as you're heading out of town, out near the Mount Pleasant Road area and on out towards Morse Creek. But once you get past this there, you're going to be just fine with nothing but green arrows all the way out to Sequim, and no problems in Sequim itself. The Hood Canal Bridge is now back open for business, for traffic right now. No problems on the ferry, and heading out west on 101 and 112, no issues there out to both Forks and Clallam Bay and Nia Bay. Experts warning parents and students to be aware as they head to the classroom this fall, with scammers riding the wave of back-to-school activities to take advantage of families left unaware. Common scams by these fraudsters include emails or texts from a fake school administrator, fake scholarship applications, and too-good-to-be-true shopping sites that offer discounted school books in return for your sensitive information. Michael Jabara is global head of fraud services for Visa and confirms it's an alarming trend they've noticed among users at this time of year.
The amount of chatter related to back-to-school scams increased by 71%. So for as many parents who have back-to-school shopping on top of their minds, so the fraudsters as well.
A 3-year-old girl recovering after being attacked in a tent in Montana by a black bear who entered the family's campsite. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has some more details.
Park officials say the bear had no history of conflicts. Adding food and garbage were found nearby. Such attacks are extremely rare. But last year in West Yellowstone, Montana, 48-year-old Amy Adamson was killed by a grizzly while on a hiking trail.
Well, men, we take the prize for workplace rudeness. Researchers say office manners have been on the decline for more than 10 years now. While both men and women are the targets of rudeness, it's men who do the instigating 70% of the time, according to researchers. And according to a Japanese survey, 55% of golfers have a history of low back pain caused by the rotation and the speed of their swing. So take it easy out there on the course, would you?
If you have an ADT home or business security system, maybe it's time to look for a different company. I'm Kim Commando for NetSuite. Attention business owners, get a one-of-a-kind flexible financing program at netsuite.com/Kim. 10 days ago, the security company ADT was forced to admit to the Securities and Exchange Commission that it was hacked. They won't say when, and they won't say what the cyber thieves got, other than some names and addresses, all of which raises a big red flag. Is your ADT home or business really protected? My point is, when confidential customer information is stolen, that company should notify its customers immediately. It should tell them exactly what was stolen and what to do to protect themselves. Instead, ADT customers got informed months after the fact, and some of you ADT customers may be learning about this right now. That's no way to run a security company, one that holds the passcodes to millions of American homes. If you're not tech ahead, you will be left tech behind. Get my free newsletter at getkim.com. Okay, quick math. The less your business spends on operations, on multiple systems, on delivering your product or service, the more money you keep. It's obvious. But with higher expenses on materials, employees, distribution, and borrowing, everything costs more. So to reduce costs and headaches, small businesses are graduating to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one platform. With NetSuite, you reduce IT costs because NetSuite lives in the cloud with no hardware required. Access from anywhere. You cut the cost of maintaining multiple systems because you've got one unified business management suite. And you're improving efficiency by bringing all your major business processes into one platform, slashing manual tasks and errors. So do the math. See how you'll profit with NetSuite. NetSuite has extended its one-of-a-kind flexible financing program for a few more weeks. Head to netsuite.com/Kim. That's netsuite.com/Kim. netsuite.com/Kim.
A healthy diet during pregnancy could help prevent some OB complications. I'll tell you more after this.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
A recent study looked at about 7,900 pregnant women and the Mediterranean diet. They found that women who engaged in this particular eating style, specifically in the first trimester, had a significantly reduced rate of outcomes like preeclampsia, gestational hypertension, gestational diabetes, and preterm labor. So here's my take as an OBGYN and a nutritionist. The importance of the environment of the uterus is now known to be key for future well-being of the fetus. Part of this environment is linked to nutrition. Excessive weight gain during pregnancy is associated with increased risks for both mom and baby. But this study suggests it's also what is eaten that can matter too. With Your Body, I'm ABC's Dr. Jennifer Ashton.
At United Way of Clallam County, we believe in a future where everyone can reach their full potential. That is why we mobilize our community to support over 20 local nonprofits that provide key resources to those in our community that need them. From Sarge's Veteran Support in Forks to the Free Clinic in Squim, United Way is there to amplify the caring power of our community. Donate today at tinyurl.com/UnitedWayClallam.
At the Lodge at Sherwood Village in Squim, you can enjoy the freedom of month-to-month rent in an upscale retirement community. The Lodge offers both cottages and apartments, and you'll be able to choose your new home based on your specific needs. The cottages offer a more independent living style, with our apartments offering additional services, with 3 daily meals, weekly housekeeping, and transportation, among other services. Call us and schedule your tour today at the Lodge at Sherwood Village, 681-3100.
News, sports, and information for the North Olympic Peninsula. We're News Radio KONP, Port Angeles, Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. North Carolina voters getting a double dose in the race for the White House this week. Both presidential candidates making a campaign stop in the battleground state to unveil their economic policies. GOP nominee Donald Trump holding a rally in Asheville this hour and will detail his economic plans. ABC's Alex Prochet is there with a preview.
Why Asheville? It is a liberal dot in the western part of the state, but also you think about this. If he's trying to hit multiple media markets, Asheville checks that box. I think also it helps him get to the western part of the state, those Republican counties.
Democratic nominee Kamala Harris will be in North Carolina Friday. The White House says President Biden was not aware of his son Hunter Biden's efforts to seek help from a U.S. ambassador on behalf of Ukrainian energy company Burisma when his father was vice president. Those allegations first reported by the New York Times. In Ohio, a police officer facing criminal charges, including murder, for fatally shooting a pregnant woman.
Blendon Township, Ohio police officer Connor Grubb had his bond set at $250,000 after the death of Takaya Young, a pregnant black woman shot and killed in a police confrontation. Young was suspected of shoplifting from a grocery store and ordered out of her car last August when investigators say she drove toward Officer Grubb, who fired a single shot through the windshield, killing Young and her unborn baby. Defense attorney Mark Collins pleaded with the judge to set a reasonable bond.
This is a situation in which it's not what happened, but why it happened, Your Honor.
Grubb pleaded not guilty to murder, involuntary manslaughter, and felony assault. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
The U.S. is pushing ahead on trying to finalize a Gaza ceasefire deal. Talks are set to resume tomorrow in the Middle East. Hamas so far saying it will not participate, saying it has agreed to a previous version with Israel. You're listening to ABC News.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
In Moscow, a verdict expected tomorrow in the case of a Russian-American ballerina arrested months ago and accused of treason after donating money to a charity supporting Ukraine. And another American now detained in Moscow charged with petty hooliganism, sentenced to 15 days administrative detention.
Russian media say a 46-year-old unidentified American citizen has been arrested after reportedly getting into a fight with staff at a five-star hotel in Moscow.
ABC's Tom Rivers. Waymo with an explanation now about why their self-driving taxis in San Francisco have been honking at each other all night long.
It's an annoying issue for people who live around a parking lot where Waymo autonomous taxis park in San Francisco. They've been honking all night. Randall White says it started a few weeks ago.
Then it happened again. And again.
Now Waymo is explaining what's going on. The company says the honking is from software meant to prevent slow-moving crashes, and as the cars come into the parking lot, they're honking at each other. The company says it's adjusting its software to fix it. Alex Stone, ABC News.
A Colorado school district has voted to take nearly 24 books off its library shelves. Board members also adopted a checkout protocol for books that contain, quote, sensitive topics. Parents will be notified if their child attempts to check out a book from the sensitive topic catalog, which includes To Kill a Mockingbird and the Bible.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
Home affordability. That's an oxymoron. How about a quality craftsmanship home on the site of your choice, averaging 40% less than stick-built? Got your attention? At Mountain View Homes in Sequim, we specialize in affordable homes with full-service land packages. Dirt to turnkey, a quality, beautiful, efficient manufactured home on the site of your choice. Give Mountain View Homes a call or visit mountainviewhomes.com. That's mtviewhomes.com.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. 457-6600. With the layoffs of almost 200 workers at the McKinley paper mill in Port Angeles looming in 2 weeks, the union representing them still attempting to negotiate a softer landing for the members and try to get clarity on when the mill might reopen. In June, the company gave employees a 60-day notice of massive layoff under the WARN Act, citing market conditions as a reason and telling workers they would restart operations when it became profitable to do so. But members of Western Pulp and Paper workers are now calling on the mill's management to provide better transparency regarding their decision to temporarily close the facility and what it will take to actually reopen it. So far, they say the company has not been able to tell them that. We reached out to McKinley for their comments. They have not returned our calls.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 66. Winds out of the northwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tonight, lows level off around 53. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Tomorrow, high temperatures reach up to 65. Temperatures a bit below average Friday and Saturday, with highs in the low 60s. Slight chance of thunderstorms Saturday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 63 Sunday, 62 Monday, and 63 on Tuesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 66.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
All right, welcome to the program. Going to spend some time getting into some data into kind of overall 30,000 foot and even a closer look at things in Port Angeles, the economic health of Port Angeles, about housing and short-term rentals and all of that with one of my most interesting guests. I always love to talk with Steve Palaio because he's a charter financial advisor. He's a data guy. And if you know, we've had him on a couple of times. He's talked in the past about short-term rentals and really has gotten into the nuts and bolts of things and the numbers and such. We'll try not to bore you with too many numbers, but it's a part of the story. So, Steve, it's great to have you back again.
No, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
And the reason I did is that you had posted on a Facebook article that we had a bit about what kind of the pivot that has happened with the group that you were part of and that are still part of, really, Olympic Peninsula Lodging Alliance.
Sure.
And kind of going into a lot more than just the short-term rental thing. Yeah. So let's kind of talk about, I guess,
let me give
status
a little
of the
background
alliance.
to make sure we're all level set here. So OPLA, Olympic Peninsula Lodging Alliance, we're an official 501c6 nonprofit. We're advocating for lodging solutions here in the Olympic Peninsula. Our initial focus was on short-term rental regulations, and we were just begging the city, make sure we use real data before making any decisions. You know, this wasn't going to solve an affordable housing crisis. We want to make sure they understood it was only 2 to 3% of the housing stock. We want to make sure they understood the implications to tourism potentially here. But the bottom line is, we can talk more and more about short-term rentals later on. We're getting to kind of the final innings of that regulation. But as you focus on lodging, it starts seeing the relationships to other areas. So now I'm spending more time looking on the impacts to tourism, to housing, again, affordable housing, to economic growth, safety, our own curb appeal. I'm actually on the board of the Waterfront District. I'm very excited about implementing the Elevate PA plan and kind of improving the curb appeal downtown in our commercial business district. It gets into areas like lodging tax collections and how we spend that for events and dream parks and pump tracks and basketball and BMX. And so all these areas I'm finding myself now interested in digging more into.
And they're all interconnected, I think, as you are illustrating right there. I think most people who analyze what happens, it's not just one thing. It's not even a 3-legged stool or a 4-legged stool. It's about a 100-legged stool.
Correct. Yeah. That's a good way of thinking about it.
So let's go back to STRs real quick, because you mentioned we're at the point now where we're in the licensing, this whole phase of things. What's very curious, I guess, to me, maybe it's not surprising to you, from what I understand, the city has not even come close to the cap for licenses on this. There was all of this angst that, oh my gosh, we're going to have a lottery. And it sounds like there's a lot of folks that have decided maybe I'm just not going to do the so-called Airbnb business right now.
Yeah, so the regulation decided for the traditional type 2, the independent standalone short-term rentals, there was going to be a cap of 200 of them spread across our community here, and it looks like only 165 applications were filed. And so there's still opportunities for people that would like to file, but they're going to be dealt with after this first round of all the inspections are done. Realistically, what this means is that we're not going to know until next summer seasonality what the impacts are going to be. Losing potentially, I think, 75, maybe 100, could even be more short-term rentals is going to have some serious implications for our tourist economy. More people will probably ultimately just end up staying in the county, and in doing so, that will help the county lodging tax dollar collections, and then thus it's going to impact some of the lodging tax collections for us here as well. So we need to figure out how we're going to balance our tourism economy, and hopefully we can grow our non-tourism economy. Hopefully we can spread our tourism economy to the non-seasonal summer months as well. But clearly this was our fastest growing line item in our city financials, lodging tax collections, and now we're actually going to probably see a pretty good little downtick next year from this.
When we last chatted, it was a pretty significant amount of lodging tax dollars coming from those short-term
rentals. Roughly
rentals.
A third comes from short-term rentals or so. And so it turns out that total lodging tax dollars for the city of Port Angeles has been growing just under about double digits, 10, 11% per year. But it was because short-term rentals were growing about 30% per year. Okay. And so now we're going to see short-term rentals. If we're losing, let's say we're going to go down from 250 to maybe 300 down to 175. I don't know what the number is going to be. I'm sure people are probably going to end up charging more. That Red Lion on Crab Fest weekend is a $400 or $500 night. I'm sure for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house is going to be expensive then as well. So maybe we won't go down proportionately, but rates will go up, and then the city's probably going to be looking at maybe a 15% downtick in lodging tax collections next year.
Very interesting. But next year will be the story, because
next summer is going to be the test.
I don't know if you've talked to anybody who's decided not to re-up.
Good point.
Or, the magic, everybody said, well, if they don't do it, then they're going to just become long-term renters.
Yes.
Are you hearing anything like that?
So it's a couple different ways of looking at it. Remember, one of the regulations, in addition to the 200 cap, was that now it's only one license per person per parcel. So anybody that had multiple And there was this initial fear that there's some large out-of-town corporate entity that owns 20 properties. That just wasn't true. And so the truth of the matter is there's probably a couple of handfuls of people that owned a couple, and maybe there were a few that owned 3 or maybe 4 or something like that. So we didn't really have that issue, but nonetheless, you're still talking probably another couple dozen that weren't able to continue. And so if you talk to the Port Angeles Association of Realtors, you have seen they're estimating to me about 24 former short-term rentals that have now been sold.
Okay.
So now remember, our median average home price here is about $460,000 or so. Most of these short-term rentals are probably going to be at that or even above that. So again, it wasn't really satisfying any of the affordable housing needs that we're really looking for. In fact, I asked Maureen over at Olympic Title, she does a lot of the home sale transactions, and she said over a prior 6-month period, this is like 3-4 months ago, I asked where people came from when they bought a home in the Port Angeles School District. And it turned out it was over 40%, I think it was 46%, came from outside of 98362 and 98363. So if you're a local trying to trade up or buy your first home here, you're not competing against other locals.
No, it's people coming here from outside.
People from all over the world. And that's really the problem here. We're not an island. We're not insulated. We're exposed to the global economy, global inflation. And the truth is we're an attractive place to not only visit, but live. And we're actually relatively cheap for the West Coast in the grand scheme of things.
In fact, we just did a story. The median, Redfin just came out, and Washington was the 4th highest median in the country for home price. However, it was one of the lowest on the West Coast. Oregon was the only one lower.
It's interesting. Here in Port Angeles, I looked at this data for the 39 counties of Washington. Once again, the data nerd in me. I went down this rabbit hole, and of the 39 counties in Washington, Clallam County's been about 16th in the ranking of the median average home price. And we all feel like it's so much more significant here. Guess what? We're still 16th. So we're growing in line with the state averages. We're growing in line with actually kind of the national averages for inflation. Maybe we've exacerbated it a little bit more because I'm sure of the next subject we're going to talk about, supply.
That's exactly where I'm going.
Well.
And that's really the crux of what I wanted to talk about is just how do we solve that, crack that nut, as we say. The city has certainly tried some things. And I think it's important to point out, you analyze this. You're not throwing anybody really under the bus.
Not
it's just we got to have a robust discussion about this and see what's really working and what's not. And there's a little bit of a dirty little secret 20 miles down the road where Squim is able to, put in a lot more housing in Port Angeles. Listen, some of that might have to do with the availability of land and some other things, but let's just dive into that right now and kind of the world as you see it dealing with the supply problem in Port Angeles.
So first you need to make sure you understand the history here. If you go back to even 2018-19, we put out a housing action plan, and during that we said that over the period from 2020 to 2030, we needed 3,000 homes, roughly 300 a year. And we've been, if you look at the building permit data, it's somewhere between 40 to 50. Maybe one year we'll have 55 and one year we'll have 30, but we've been doing roughly 40 to 50 homes per year.
We should point out that's in Port Angeles proper.
The city
that's
proper, correct, not the county. Right. And so we've been building at 15% of what we were targeting that we really said that we needed. And perhaps more of an issue is that we got really good at cookie cutter single family residences. And we didn't build really any meaningful multifamily apartments of note for a good 10, 15-year period when interest rates were so low and it's much more feasible to do. And unfortunately, those are the affordable housings that we need today. If the median average household income here is less than $60,000, you probably can only afford $1,300, maybe $1,200 a month in rent. That's an apartment. And we just don't have a lot of those available because we were too late in building those. So the city is actually, and this is where I got to applaud City Council, they're doing things like fee waivers. They're encouraging more infill with ADUs. They're trying to drive affordable housing. This is great. We need this. We're way behind. I'm one of these guys that wants the whole Lincoln school site leveled for 150 apartments. I think that would reinvigorate that edge of town, but we need affordable housing. We need it in the form of apartments at this point in time. So I am pushing for everything that I can affordable housing. I like what the city's doing to encourage that. On the other side of the coin, I get nervous when I see the building permit data. And so year to date through July, we've actually seen the total number of dwelling units. This is including multifamily and ADUs and homes. Year to date, it's down 44% versus last year. And then specific to single-family residences, as we start to encourage ADUs and multifamily, we're seeing the individual homes, we've only had permits for 6 year to date.
Wow.
And so I don't know if I want to annualize that, 10 to 15 this year or something, but again, significantly lower against a backdrop where 5-10 miles down the road, we're building hundreds for a community that has less than half the population of us. So the migratory changes that are going to happen over the next 5 to 10 years are going to be pretty significant. And I'm one of these people that believe that Port Angeles can't shrink its way to prosperity. We have to build our way out of this. We have to invest in jobs so people are paid more so they can afford more. But we also have to be able to build in the types of housing that we need. And so I just keep saying, please prove to me we can build 100 unit apartment complex that can get people, homes here at a decent place.
Why do you think that's such a problem? Such a, here I am. I'm looking at a true capitalist, equation here. You would look at this, you'd say, there is demand for that. I ought to build it. But yet, the I ought to build it don't seem to want to step up and do it.
I think it's a few different things. I mean, to be fair, some of it's out of our control, right? The macroeconomy's made it much more difficult. Anybody that's sitting on a 3% mortgage doesn't want to move for a 6% mortgage, right? And same thing if you want to build and you got to borrow at these kind of high rates and material prices and labor costs are higher as well. It's very difficult. Even if you want to do kind of a public-private joint project in there, you start paying prevailing wage. Just the ROI on these projects are very difficult in this type of environment. They need much higher rents to make any kind of financial sense. Then you look at kind of more of the individual issues specific to our community. We certainly have some infrastructure issues, right? So whether it's sewer or water or power, and that's whether we're trying to build something or we're trying to incentivize a new manufacturing company or something to come to our community. So we do have some infrastructure here that we need to prioritize. I actually want, along this main corridor here in front, we've got a lot of vacant commercial land and buildings that seems to be along the arteries where we should have infrastructure. Let's put some multifamily apartments there with downstairs retail or something. That seems like a great place that we could maybe do that. Unfortunately, it just looks like SQUIM, despite the fact that they have these impact fees that are much higher, they still seem to be able to attract more people to build there. So it's a bit of a curious case.
It is a conundrum in some ways, but we jokingly this morning were talking about you coming on, by the way, and one of our staff said, well, so SQUIM is becoming the bedroom community of Port Angeles. In some ways, I know a lot of people who work in Port Angeles and have had to buy a house in SQUIM, or that's where they're having to live.
I mean, these homes that are coming in, even SQUIM's probably going to end up having an affordable housing issue down the road, because it does look like most of these 1,200 homes, is what the Peninsula Daily News said was coming to us, are in that kind of middle of $450,000 to $500,000 range. So they need to be thinking also, to be fair, about affordable housing too. They do a little bit with some of the mobile home and manufactured homes out there, but I think this whole Olympic Peninsula needs more multifamily apartments.
What are your thoughts about efforts to get some of these vacant buildings used? And how would you, if you could be the czar of this, how would Steve Palaio address that? Because there's a lot of empty buildings.
I got into this whole short-term rental lodging advocacy. Actually, my number one focus was vacant commercial property. And it just bothers me that as you come into our town, we see a lot of vacant properties. We see, unfortunately, a lot of, fast food, marijuana, and coffee shops.
That's right.
I want to diversify our economy, I think, a little bit more of that. But vacant commercial was really my sticking point, and especially in some of the marquee corner locations as you come into town, right there up front in Lincoln, the old Delaney's. Thanks to the Hub is now taking over Matthews Glass. So we are seeing some improvements. I love what Steve Rader Ginsburg's doing down at Field Hall, but we still have, how long has Maria's Mexican been empty? How long are we going to take to get the Tribe Hotel done? So vacant commercial is one of my biggest hot buttons that I'd like to see us doing something with. We have too much. On the Waterfront District Board, I just heard a stat that 30% of the commercial business district downtown is vacant.
30%.
That's a huge
third. That's a third of basically the property available.
We need to get these things going, and I almost feel like my downtown's kind of like an HOA. I wouldn't allow that to sit blight in my HOA. So I want to see improvements there. I want to see incentives to get some of these key marquee spots, rented out and utilized. And I want to see that hotel done. I want to see those downtown condos. That Lincoln Theater, I'm going to go and paint the facade myself until it gets utilized. It's looking too ragged. So I just want to see these vacant vacant commercial spots get utilized. We don't have a lot of land here for big housing tracts, but we could repurpose quite a bit of vacant and blighted land across our community.
There's been a lot of talk in years past about incorporating more housing in the downtown, if you will, where you use the upper levels. I mean, you have retail below, you've got living above. Is that still a viable option?
Well, it is. Remember, there's a plan out there for 200 condos just across from just south of Field Hall. I understand that they still have the interest in doing it. I think there was a little nervousness. Obviously, COVID, I think, slowed things down. Getting the hotel built, and that's kind of slowed things down as well. And so I think we're just a little chicken and egg right now. Who's going to jump first? It will eventually get done. I think we are improving here. It's just not at the rate of ascent that I'd like to see.
I just got to go back to we need to build 300 homes a year, and we're not even breaking 100, really, quite frankly.
No, we're closer to 50 than we are 100.
And this is a problem across the state. The state's got it's not just here, but it seems to be exacerbated in Port Angeles for who knows what reason.
The good news is, let's face it, I think some of the bad news recently, whether it was McKinley or Rite Aid or Big Lots or First Fed layoffs, this is starting people to think. They're saying it's the economy, stupid. We do need to fix these types of things. And so I feel like we're a town that's very good at dreaming. We struggle sometime in our execution. And right now we are doing the 2025 comprehensive plan. This is the time to figure out what we want it to look like. In fact, the city's already put out a survey for our Vision 2045. I'm worried about the next 5 years. Let's get to 2030 first. Get me my downtown hotel, condos, and Lincoln Theater. Those are the ones I'm focused on here rather than what's going on in 2045. But we need to focus on execution. So I've jokingly said that the new role that we need downtown is a CEO. And that's a chief expediency officer. I want to know what are the top 3 priorities in each department, and then I want to hear that CEO, expediency officer, speak on them once a month at the city council meetings. Are we moving forward on these major issues? So I've laid out this long list of KPIs of how I'm key performance index, key performance measures of how I'm monitoring the health of my community. And so I think this would be a good example of somebody that can maybe be a little accountable to making sure we'd stop just dreaming, but actually executing on our plans.
Are you hopeful, though? I mean, you're always a kind of a positive guy. As much as you come in here and say, oh, the sky may be falling in some ways, I know you always come out positive on this, or try to at least.
Look, we live in a beautiful place. This is the only waterfront along 101 here. This is why I'm now living here full time. My wife's family goes back 130 years. I think we have a beautiful place, and so we are definitely improving. I just feel like it's the rate of improvement's been the issue. COVID really threw us for a loop. If we didn't have COVID, we may have that downtown hotel and condos by now. That would then attract and get that revitalization all going on in our waterfront district. I'm now worried that Squim's going to get their 500 homes in before we get our downtown cleaned up. And so what does that mean for kind of interest and where people ultimately end up settling down? So we need to build our way out of this. We need to invest in jobs in our economy. We need to invest in homes. Again, we can't create a passport that you have to live in PA. We can't create a wall around us. We need to grow our way out of this.
So what's the message? City Council, I mean, what do you tell the City Council? They got to set some policy? What would you would like to see tomorrow, if possible, that might help?
Well, I think we have a great opportunity now with the comprehensive plan. I just want to make sure we take it serious. We're not checking boxes. This is a requirement from the state of Washington. Sure. We're not going to do like what we did with our housing action plan and set a goal that just is not achievable. So let's set realistic goals. Let's hold ourselves accountable. Let's look in the mirror. Let's give ourselves a report card. How did we do versus the 2016 comprehensive plan? Where did we struggle? How can we improve? It's fine that we struggle, but we need to admit it so we can move on and prioritize what I think is important. If it really is infrastructure that's holding back our ability to annex and move into some of these other areas, let's prioritize infrastructure. And then let's just report back on that. So I'm all about setting realistic goals that are quantifiable and measurable, and then holding ourselves accountable to meeting them. That's all.
I think that's fair. I'm a couple of generation-long resident family here as well, and I can say this, and you'll probably agree. This is not your grandfather's Port Angeles anymore. We got to think differently than we always did before. Things aren't just going to happen like they used to happen.
It's a very good point. Obviously, we did very well with timber industries and mills and marine and fishing, and we've struggled with each of those. I still think we have huge opportunities with our port. That's a big underutilized asset out there. And I know that we're losing kind of McKinley at this point in time, but I still think there are opportunities to do more here. I remember it was Colleen McAleer said that the county did an EDC survey, I think it was last year at some point, and I think 8% of reviewers or respondents to that survey were remote workers. So if we don't have the infrastructure and the power to bring a manufacturing company, but we have a beautiful backyard, let's get the remote workers that want to live in a beautiful place.
And then you get back to this housing thing as well, because you know what? Not only are they going to be living in that housing, they work in that housing. That's their office.
and more importantly, they're going to probably be bringing their high-paying job, their private insurance. Our number one employer, OMC, 85% Medicare, Medicaid, is losing money on 85% of their revenues, basically. And so we need more private insurance to hopefully make our number one employer profitable as well. So I'm all about finding some way to reinvigorate economic growth in this town. I don't know for sure what it is, but it seems like there's enough going on in a few pockets. I got to commend Mike French for what he did to lead towards this Recompete grant. It's for 2 counties. We're trying to create just 1,300 jobs out of 130,000 population, but it's something. Now we need 10 more of those kind of efforts going on. So we're trying.
And I think it's great to have you kind of prodding us along, too, in every way you can.
I'm just the guy who asks questions. You know, my wife likes to tell me, she gave me a new nickname. She calls me 60 Grit because I'm abrasive. And I said, no, honey, that's not it. I just want to make sure people are educated, they know the data, and they're asking the same questions and demanding answers.
Can we go onto your the Alliance website? Can we find some of this information, your KPIs? Where you posted all of this now?
Absolutely. You can certainly find it on the Olympic Peninsula Lodging Alliance.org. And so that's going to focus, of course, more about the lodging issues out there. But I did throw up some of my economic slides in there as well.
They're pretty interesting.
And I've presented at Kiwanis and Rotary and Port Angeles Business Association and Port Angeles Association of Realtors, SQUIM Associated Realtors. So I'm more than willing, if you have a group here that wants to sit down and go through some of the data, reach out to me. I'm happy to come and chat with you.
All right. Well, I'll be reaching out again to you because it's always great to have you on the show.
Thanks for
coming
having me
on,
Todd.
Steve.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Take care.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back to talk about something fun in our community in SQUIM. That is the free concert from the SQUIM City Band. It's this Sunday. We'll chat about that right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP. Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
Hello, this is Amanda Huff with SQUIM Valley and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapels. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a new, exciting, and environmentally friendly development in the funeral industry. It's called natural organic reduction, or simply terramation. Perhaps you've heard of it. Terramation is a process in which the body, after death, is returned to the earth in a carbon-neutral, eco-friendly manner. The process takes place in a controlled environment, and all that remains is a natural, odorless, compost-like material. If you'd like more information about terramation and advanced planning, call us today at Harper Ridgeview in Port Angeles or SQUIM Valley Chapel in SQUIM, and one of our knowledgeable and caring funeral professionals will assist you in answering your questions. Harper Ridgeview and SQUIM Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
Warmer weather, long days, and time off sure sounds like vacation. This is Dale from Wilder Auto, and if you're in the market for a newer used truck to pull your boat or trailer, or a full or mid-sized SUV, then we've got the best selection of those vehicles on the peninsula. We've got over 100 lenders, great selection, and for peace of mind and lower cost of ownership, the Wilder Advantage. So if you're ready for a vacation, or just a vacation from your problems, stop by or check us out 24/7 at wilderauto.com.
It's time for an upgrade with Renewal by Anderson. As a full-service solution, we take care of everything from consultation to installation, ensuring a hassle-free experience. Our custom-built windows and doors are designed to withstand the toughest weather conditions, keeping your home comfortable year-round. Say hello to peace of mind. Visit us at callrenewal.com for your free consultation today. That's callrenewal.com. Renewal by Anderson, the better way to a better window.
Did you know that Olympic Medical Center offers support groups? We have a support group for families with a new baby, as well as cancer and diabetes support groups, all free. Drop in to any of our free support groups. Learn more about meeting times and locations at olympicmedical.org/events.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Homeowners, are you tired of climbing the ladder year after year to clean your gutters? Then come see LeafGuard at the Clallam County Fair. LeafGuard is a maintenance-free gutter, the only patented one-piece seamless gutter system. They offer a clog-free guarantee, lifetime transferable warranty, and listen up, an exclusive special to you during the fair. With LeafGuard, get the ease of knowing you will never have to deal with your gutters again. Get it and forget it. Don't miss a LeafGuard exclusive special at the Clallam County Fair.
For the Washington State News Network, I'm Rob Francis. Now that the August primary is over except for the certification, it's time to look forward to the November election, where there will be no less than 9 candidates on your ballot for the highest office in the land. Outside of the Democrat and Republican nominees, you'll also have nominees from 7 minor parties, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr. from the We the People Party and Jill Stein from the Green Party. All a candidate needs to do to qualify for the Washington State ballot for president is collect 1,000 signatures and hold a nominating convention. Yakima Valley, which produces 30% of the world's hops, is nearing harvest season amid wildfires. In 2023, the region made $420 million, but smoke could taint this year's crop. Early tests are showing some hops tasting like beef jerky rather than the usual fruity notes. To combat this, brewers are using a hop slurry method to detect smoke compounds. Growers are also adjusting harvest schedules to avoid poor air quality. And Richard T. Oliver has surrendered his Washington State physician assistant's license following allegations of inadequate care at the Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla. Accusations include failing to diagnose malignant melanoma, delayed biopsies, and poor management of chronic illnesses like diabetes. Oliver, who's been retired since 2012, agreed to the license surrender. The medical commission found no need for further action. For more on these stories and others, download the WSNN mobile app. You can also visit our website, WashingtonStateNews.net.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 66. Winds out of the northwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tonight, lows level off around 53. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 65. Temperatures a bit below average Friday and Saturday with highs in the low 60s. Slight chance of thunderstorms Saturday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 63 Sunday, 62 Monday, and 63 on Tuesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 66.
Welcome back. Going to spend a few minutes talking about another free concert from the Sequim City Band. It's coming up this Sunday and titled Movies, Musicals, and Marches. So that's a pretty self-explanatory part of the show. So we're going to dive into it just a bit with the director of the band. We have Tyler Benedict here again. Hi, Tyler.
Yeah,
good to see you again. Thanks for coming by. And, of course, Vicki Blakesley joins us. Blake's good to see you, too. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, too.
She's the everything publicity side of things and also plays in the band.
Yes.
Because, well, who doesn't down in Sequim now? You've gotten so big. Let's talk about the show. Tyler, you got, as I said, the title indicates exactly what you're going to be playing this weekend.
So it's this is one of our
it gives us some options, obviously, to play. We've got a library of music, about 1,400 pieces, and when you give movies, musicals, and marches, well, it's great for us because we can pick out of our library pretty easily. But we have a couple of cool special things that I wanted to showcase. One is the Olympic fanfare and theme, which was the 1984 opening ceremony music. If you remember, if you're at a certain age, you remember there was about 1,000-member band that played this in LA Coliseum, and it ended up being probably one of the most famous Olympic theme. I mean, it's still played, even though it's technically the 1984 theme.
Yeah.
So we're going to be playing that. We're featuring one of our tuba players, Hannah Reed. She's a music teacher out at Crescent School District, and she's going to be playing Tuba Tiger Rag, which is a fun little piece.
So ragtime?
It's rag. It's
on a tuba.
Yes.
Yes.
Nice. So the original, if you're into Dixieland, Tiger Rag is a pretty popular tune. And so the group Canadian Brass was very famous, became very famous in the 70s and 80s, and they still perform. One of their pieces is a novelty piece. They call it Tuba Tiger Rag. So you've got the quintets singing and the tuba players grumbling around, and it's a whole act. So Hannah's going to be that person. So she's going to have this act, and we're going to play along. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's worth the price of admission in itself, which is a good price. It's free.
It is free.
We should point out this is a free concert that's happening at Carrie Blake Park. Starts at 3 o'clock, right? Yeah, 3 on Sunday. So you want to go down there, and you know what? Even if there's a little bit of cloudiness, it'll be a beautiful day.
Yes.
I guarantee
We
you.
always encourage people, rain or shine, bring your umbrella, bring your chairs and your blankets.
Yeah.
Because you never know what you're going to get.
Okay, take us through the rest. Those were a couple of big highlights. But you've got I'm looking at your program here. You've got a lot of tunes you're playing this time.
We are playing a lot of music. In the musical side of things, we got a nice arrangement of music from Guys and Dolls, so kind of in the early part of musicals. We're also playing from Andrew Lloyd Webber, Evita, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. On the movie side of things, we're kind of showcasing Hans Zimmer a bit. So we got Pirates of the Caribbean, which isn't written by him, but he had a lot to do with the themes. So we're doing the famous music from that. And then a little compilation of his music, some of his newer stuff from Superman, the Man of Steel, 2013, a little bit of the Batman, the Christian Bale Batman movies and that kind of thing. So we've got those going on. Okay. And then, of course, a Sousa March. You can't end without a Sousa March with a band. It's a nice little one. It has a nice showcase of our mallet percussion player, Cheryl, and she's features a xylophone solo in the middle of it.
Very interesting for a Sousa March.
It is.
Right? You don't normally hear a percussion part of that. Yeah.
The Sabres and Spurs was written for one of the cavalry pieces, so it's got a little
Clippity-cloppity.
Clippity-cloppity in there.
Clippity-cloppity. See, Vicky's got it right.
It was written for the Marine Band, but when he went into his own band touring, he added the xylophone strain after the fact, and it actually works really well. It's nice having the variation of volume and different instruments playing, so it's a fun one. We put Cheryl to work on this one.
She played it when I emceed at Field Hall.
She did, yes.
And it was a tremendous, actually a percussion duet.
Yes, she did,
at that time, and it was fabulous.
She's one of our newer players. She's only been in the band just a few years.
Yeah, a couple years.
And she specializes on all sorts of mallets, vibraphones, xylophones, marimba.
Bells, yep.
Yeah, orchestral bells. So it's really a treat to have someone who specializes that. I mean, obviously you can have a specialized timpani player. That's pretty common. But when you have somebody who just loves their mallets, and by the way, she has a whole room in her house filled with her practice mallet instruments. Her husband's not even allowed in there, I guess.
That's probably a loud room. It could be. Okay, so I always ask you guys both this. Vicky, what's your favorite piece that you're going to be playing on Sunday?
Oh, gosh, I should be prepared for this. I really should. It caught me a little bit by surprise. There's a new piece written in the last 2-3 years, so it's a modern composer. It's called Shipyard Trudge.
Okay.
Now, I was on vacation for the first 2 weeks of our rehearsal schedule, so I didn't pick it up until the third week. And first time he played it, I went, it's kind of a march. It's kind of interesting. I wasn't really fond of it. But as we've rehearsed a little bit more, it's become one of my favorite pieces. It's a little bit out of the box, and it tells a little bit of story. I mean, the title gives it away. And it's workers who are basically working a shipyard. And think about workers who would have sung their way to work. Maybe Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yes.
When they march off to work.
Yeah.
Well, workers used to you sing a lot. I mean, and it's like, and military, when they're doing marching, you frequently have the call out to the march.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. And it follows them through their day, if you will.
A trudge.
I trudge.
Yes.
At the end of the day, they're really trudging.
All right, so that's yours. All right, so your favorite one you're going to be doing there, Tyler?
So I was going to mention Shipyard Trudge too, just because it's a new piece. And one of the things, Matthew Manning's a composer of that piece, and we've tried hard, especially in the last few years, in the band world, about composers. Many composers are white males. And it is that way with classical music, because, you're hundreds of years ago. And the band world is that way too, even though that's not as common. But Matthew's an African-American composer, and there's not that many. There are becoming that. And so that's a new purchase for us. I've been trying to reach out, female composers, LGBTQ composers, that kind of thing. It's not as common in the band world. So I was looking around. It wasn't necessarily I bought it because of that reason. It was a great piece, but then I went, oh, this is great. I'd like to support some diversity in our programming. So in that case, I really like Shipyard Trudge. It's a great music. It's a great march, but it also has some touch of Holst.
Oh, okay.
If you remember our Holst suite back in the day, it has touches of that too.
How old is that piece?
I think it was written last year.
Oh, so it's
new
really
piece.
new then. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You go online and you look at what's new, and some people have recommended it, and so I looked at it and I'm like, oh, that's great. For many reasons, it's great.
Okay.
Also, just because my instrument is tuba, I like tuba, tiger, rag. I gotta like it. I can't say no to that.
I knew you were going to say that. I just knew it.
Well, it's been a few years, but the first time I was in the band that we performed this piece, Tyler was the soloist.
Oh, get out! There you go. So
it was a surprise at the end.
Ask him how well he can do a single-footed pirouette with his tuba.
Not very well, let's just say that.
Maybe better then than even now, too, right? Yeah, it's been a few years. Right?
Yeah, right.
So, this is this, you have one more outdoor concert? We
have one more in September, yes.
So you get out there and enjoy it, because there's nothing like going outside that beautiful facility, the James Center for the Performing Arts at Cary Blake Park, and enjoying that. It was built for you guys. That's basically it, and it's the ultimate band shell.
Yeah,
and you guys just
space.
Always sound great.
Yeah,
great there.
Technically, we built it.
Yeah, right.
And donated to the city.
And it looks and sounds wonderful when you guys are out there playing it, especially with however many folks you have playing now. It's I just love seeing
it fills
that
the stage.
How many are going to be at this concert, do you think?
I think we're about 75 on stage for this
75,
one.
Which is pretty good, because you're an all-volunteer group, and people tend to do things like take vacations and such during the summer, and it can get to be a little bit trying, I think, to make sure you get everybody filled, all of the parts filled.
Yep. And on top of that, too, I was gone for a couple weeks.
Yes, we do allow him to take vacation.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah.
And we had a very special person fill in for me the last couple weeks, Vern Foskett. And he was,
Vern was back doing it. Yeah.
So Vern came in. If you didn't know who Vern is, he was the band director at Squim Middle School and mostly at the high school for over
28 years.
Was it 28?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great guy. He's
a great
guy. Music educator. He retired a couple years back, and he ran the rehearsal. He's also going to be our announcer, and I think I asked him, why don't you conduct a piece or two for the concert? So he's going to
be a little surprise.
Yes, he might be conducting too. So
good for
and I'm looking forward to hearing him lead us in the national anthem. I've never heard Vern sing before, but people tell me he has a beautiful baritone voice.
So he's going to sing the national anthem as well.
Yeah,
well, you got like the whole package there. You should go on vacation more often.
I know.
It's worked out, didn't it? All right, 3:00 Sunday. Get down to the water reuse demo site. That's also at Cary Blake Park, where the James Center for the Performing Arts is, and that's where you'll find the band. And they're going to be putting on movies, musicals, and marches for free. And it's a great concert, and it's kind of rain or shine. I think pretty much it's going to be. But you know what? It's going to. It'll be like it typically is here. Clouds will break, and we'll have a wonderful afternoon.
Definitely.
I guarantee it. But don't,
I hope so.
But don't make me pay you in that sense. All right. Thanks, guys, for coming in. Good to see you, Tyler.
Thanks, Todd.
And Tyler Benedict, and also Vicki Blakesley. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Yes, I'll see you again next month.
Oh, absolutely. We've got one more outdoor one to talk about, so I look forward to it.
Thank you, Todd.
Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
It's time for your Port of PA Today.
Hello, I am Commissioner Steve Burke with the Port of Port Angeles. I am here with Dave Walter, CEO of CRTC, Composite Recycling Technology Center. A lot of people don't know what CRTC does here in Port Angeles.
The CRTC is celebrating our 9th year in Port Angeles. We use innovation to leverage the potential of undervalued materials and waste streams to create durable, environmentally conscious products. Because carbon fiber is as strong as steel at about a quarter of the weight, we use it to manufacture high-performance sporting goods like our SwiftNet portable pickleball net, which is the most popular high-performance portable pickleball net in the world. As you know, pickleball has really exploded in popularity, so it is super exciting to think that Port Angeles is now at the forefront of pickleball net technology and helps to keep many people in our area employed.
This has been your Port of PA Today.
Rev up your engines, Port Angeles. First Race Car Wash is where premium Shell gas meets the ultimate car pampering experience. Swing by our convenient location for an upgraded car wash experience that'll leave your ride gleaming. Fuel up with Shell's finest and treat your car to the TLC it deserves. First Race Car Wash in Port Angeles. You're a winner every time when you've got that first race shine.
It's time for an upgrade with Renewal by Anderson. As a full-service solution, we take care of everything from consultation to installation, ensuring a hassle-free experience. Our custom-built windows and doors are designed to withstand the toughest weather conditions, keeping your home comfortable year-round. Say hello to peace of mind. Visit us at callrenewal.com for your free consultation today. That's callrenewal.com. Renewal by Anderson, the better way to a better window.
All right, welcome back to the program. It's time for our Bacon Bit this week, and that's where our own Amanda Bacon has a chance to sit down with a famous author or celebrity. This time out, it's Frank Figliuzzi, who is the NBC News national security analyst, former FBI counterterrorism expert. And Frank sat down to talk a little bit about the upcoming Democratic National Convention and about the assassination attempt on former President Trump, and all about how we deal with terrorists or security issues at these big political events.
Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Amanda.
How are you this fine morning?
I'm good. Been talking for almost 2 hours, and so far, still have my voice with me.
Well, that's really good. That's really good. Interesting topic today. The Democratic National Convention is, of course, happening this week. And I can't even imagine the level of scurrying security that is happening right now. Walk us through what is going to be done to keep everyone safe.
Yeah, we are clearly in a high threat environment these past months, quite frankly, if not years. And we're looking at a dual threat: domestic terror groups and individuals, and international terror. What do I mean by that? Well, we've got groups like Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, 3 Percenters who may be looking at trying to pull something off against what they view as their archenemy, the Democratic Party in Chicago. There's that issue. You've got even white supremacist hate groups that are not in love with the idea that a person of color is about to be nominated as president for president of the United States. And then let's switch over to the international side of things. And look, we just saw Taylor Swift having to cancel her concert tour in Austria and add additional security to her remaining European concerts because of a viable ISIS threat that was going to be carried out by very young men radicalized online. So ISIS is still with us. FBI has made arrests not long ago of 8 individuals in the United States associated with ISIS. We don't know what they were planning. So you've got that international issue. And look, we could see imminently Iran start lobbing missiles at Israel. Hezbollah from Lebanon lobbed missiles at Israel. The U.S. is surging military resources to the region. They might have to become militarily engaged to defend Israel. And how does that impact Chicago? Well, we already are seeing word of 25,000 pro-Palestinian protesters marching on Chicago. You could see that number double if we've got a shooting war involving the U.S. in the Middle East. So lots of things to keep our eyes on. Here's the good news. Chicago PD.
Could we get to good news because I'm having a panic attack?
I know. I always like to end on an up note, Amanda. So look, we've got Chicago PD with 2,500 police officers designated for the event. 500 police officers coming from out of town, even out of state, including Milwaukee officers who just successfully did the RNC there. And really significantly, the convention, just like the RNC, has been designated a national security special event by the White House. What does that mean? It means that every one of those 3-letter federal agencies are going to bring their entire toolkit to Chicago. Some of those tools so classified we can't even talk about them. But threats like a dirty bomb, radiological threat, biochemical threat, an improvised explosive device. The feds are going to be all over that. And you'll see drones and aircraft and undercover agents and officers in the crowd amongst the protesters. So I have an actual high degree of confidence that this will be a safe and secure event.
And for people who are wondering why, Frank, you are such an expert on this, I mean, you're the former FBI counterterrorism expert. Which I don't even know how one becomes a counterterrorism expert. It seems like it would be just a horrifically depressing job.
Well, there's tremendous stress and even burnout in the job. Look, I did 25 years as an FBI special agent. I retired as the assistant director or head of counterintelligence, catching spies, working espionage. At various times, I led major counterterrorism teams and joint terrorism task forces throughout the FBI. And it is a constant vigilance. I mean, one of my big bosses had a poster hanging on the back of his office door, and it said this: America is at peace because the FBI is at war. And that's not an over-exaggeration. It is a daily battle because there are people in this world who get out of bed every day trying to hurt America. And you don't hear 80% of what is disrupted and forwarded. And I am confident that the convention will come off without a serious incident. But keep your eyes on signs of Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, 3%ers. Keep your eyes on the pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel movement and whether they turn violent or not. Watch the Middle East and see if that shooting war breaks out. But I'll end with this, at least for now. The biggest threat of all is the lone actor. Yeah. Like that young man who fired 8 rounds at the Butler, Pennsylvania rally and tried to take out Donald Trump. That lone actor is the hardest to detect and deter.
So with the lone actor that they have, I mean, I guess, there's reports of, well, we kind of saw something, but it's probably fine. I mean, is every little I think I see something going to be mitigated at the DNC, or is it still going to be a wait and see what happens let's not jump to conclusions situation.
No, there'll be no delay, I assure you. So there are street teams available and partnered. Usually you'll have a Fed teamed up with a local county or state detective. That partnership is essential for communications and knowing the city. When that lead comes in, hey, there's a guy with a backpack that doesn't look right. They are going to jump on that. So the mistakes we saw in Butler, Pennsylvania. Hey, do you have this? No, I thought you had it. Hey, where's the guy? I lost him. No. This isn't going to happen. They're going to jump on the guy. There'll be drones. There'll be aircraft. There'll be cameras everywhere that are being used by the police. So that's not going to happen. The attempt may happen, but I'm confident they'll jump on it.
You know, I think all of us are a little on edge right now. And what can you tell us to maybe help us take a few deep breaths as we go into the final push of this political season?
Yeah, there's a lot of bad news out there about what we may be facing come November and soon thereafter, and whether people are going to accept or not the outcome of a valid election or not. I say this, we're going through a tough time right now, but this nation has been through tough times. People forget. Look, you want to talk about conventions? 1968, Chicago, riots, violence, unbearable violence and beatings of police officers and police officers beating protesters. The anti-Vietnam movement was strong and fervent there. We've gotten through attempted assassinations and real assassinations of our presidents. We've gotten through violent civil war in this country. We will get through this. People need to stand up and act and defend our democracy and Constitution, double down on our belief system. We'll get through this together as a nation.
Frank Figliuzzi, thank you so much for your time this morning, and thank you for your years of service and, like you said, keeping us safe so we can kind of sleep at night. God bless and lots of prayers to everyone who is fighting this in Chicago this weekend, making sure that everyone stays safe. Many prayers of peace and happiness.
Thanks, Amanda. Anytime. Take care.
Homeowners, are you tired of climbing the ladder year after year to clean your gutters? Then come see LeafGuard at the Clallam County Fair. LeafGuard is a maintenance-free gutter, the only patented one-piece seamless gutter system. They offer a clog-free guarantee, lifetime transferable warranty, and listen up, an exclusive special to you during the fair. With LeafGuard, get the ease of knowing you will never have to deal with your gutters again. Get it and forget it. Don't miss a LeafGuard exclusive special at the Clallam County Fair.
Hi everyone, it's Leslie Robertson from the Port Angeles Chamber, and I want to tell you about a great opportunity to support our local area. Would you like to meet people from all over the world? Do you like the chance to brag about this beautiful place we live?